I'm not even sure if I'm actually live because I keep getting this notice. But we'll see in a minute if I'm actually live. It says I'm live, but then it also said that I wasn't live. So I don't know if Facebook is messing with me again. Let me go look on my laptop and see if I'm live. Oh, I'm live. Hi guys, I guess I am live. So I tried to go live and it kept kicking me out, and I assumed Facebook probably was mad because I've been live again. And it kept telling me that I couldn't go live, but I'm here. I'm here trying to drain the sewage. I'm here. I want to talk to you guys about looking at you. I want to know what you're doing to help stop family court fraud. Hi. Hello there, hello there, hello there. So I want to know what you're doing to help stop family court fraud. Now, when I talk about family court fraud, and by the way, my hat does not say drain the swamp. It says drain the sewage. 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 It's not a swamp, guys. We're not trying to drain a swamp. We're trying to drain... Does anybody want to know what the word is for that? You can call it feces. You can call it poopy. You can call it stink. You can call it... Should I say it? I'm trying not to. But it starts with an S and it ends with a T. Okay? A swamp has living creatures in it. Right? But sewage? Who wants to play in sewage? Would you... If you fell in sewage, or if you had a choice to fall in sewage or a swamp, what would you pick? Let me see. Comment. Tell me. If you had a choice to fall in, if you had no choice and you had to fall in one or the other, you had to pick one. Would you fall into sewage or would you fall into a swamp? Let me know. I want to know. What would you fall into? What would you, if you had no choice, somebody was going to give you $1,000 to push you and you had to fall in sewage or a swamp, what would you pick? What would you pick? Let me see what you guys are saying. What would you pick? Sewage? Raw sewage is bad. Definitely a swamp. Yep. What would you guys fall in? So I'm saying drain the sewage, guys. Drain the sewage. Okay. Now what is the sewage? What is the sewage? Karen said, I had one judge recuse himself because I called him out on his hypocrisy. They should, though. You see, they should. And under our laws, if everybody, it's funny that you're saying that about recusing, because this is part of what I got on here for today to talk about this frickin' sewage. Okay. Do you guys want to hear? Yes. Swamp. Exactly. Sewage or swamp? Sewage or swamp? I say sewage, right? I say if I had to fall into one of them, I'd fall into a swamp. I wouldn't want to fall into sewage, right? But we're not trying to drain a swamp. We're trying to drain sewage. Sewage. And I keep saying, if we could get to the president, right? And if we can take the axe to the root of what's really going on inside our country, we could fix all the other problems in our country. I ran for governor as a write-in in the state of New York because look what we have now. Look what we have now. And that's why I did this live right now. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you that's watching. What are you doing to stop family court fraud? What are you doing? In the state of New York right now, and I just got off the phone with another situation where someone is being abused, their children are being abused by a system. I'm not talking about mother, father, by the system. Okay? Hi, guys. And everybody should pay attention to this. This is not just a family court problem. This is a one-stop shopping problem for your family destruction. That's what this is. And it doesn't matter even if you don't have children. If you don't fight this, this is a wreckage to our country. We need to wake up, my friends. I do this every day because we need to save our nation. Okay? Now you see children, babies. I'm literally intercepting babies from being taken from hospitals. Okay? Why do they want these babies? They're worth a lot of money. They're worth a lot of money. There's a lot of kind of people out there that can't give birth and have kids, and they want yours. And wait a minute, but Francesca, I don't have kids. Francesca, I don't have kids, or I'm too young, I'm not married yet, or well, that my ship has sailed, or it's affecting your families. And when it affects your families, it affects our whole country, right? Why do you think they keep trying to shut me up? Why do you think they're doing what they're doing? Why do you think West Virginia didn't want kidnapped played? Because it's actually exposing what's happening. We need to protect families. We need to protect families. And in the protection of families, we need to protect families from the abuses that they're causing our nation. This is affecting our families and our children logarithmically. It's been doing it for 90 plus years and beyond that, and beyond that, okay? And so why am I looking at all of you guys? Why am I saying I need you guys to help? I need you guys to do something. Is it because you don't know what to do? I need to know. I need you guys to tell me. I want to interact with you. Because if I can, here's the thing. I get messages, like, while I'm talking to you, around the frickin' clock. Nonstop messages. There's a lot of fantastic people out there doing a lot of great work. There's a lot of amazing frontlines advocates out there doing a lot of fantastic stuff. Obviously, Rome wasn't built in a day. The Berlin Wall didn't come down. You know, it takes banging and chipping and punching and fighting and speaking and doing and taking action in order to stop this. This has been going on for a long time. So I'm in support of anybody that does whatever to keep chipping and chipping and chipping till we knock it down. And part of what I do is educate you guys so that you understand what's going on. Because, you know, we've been asking the question for years, why is this happening? Now we know why it's happening. So what are we going to do about it? And what I need to hear from you guys, what I want to know from you, okay, she's saying, I don't know what to do. All right. So Londa said she won a reversal dismissed case in 2018 that changed policy in North Carolina. Take my case to the top. Okay. And that these are good things. I want to hear some interaction. I want to know what you need to do, what you don't know how to do. That's why we do boot camp every night, Monday through Friday. We're in boot camp, learning all kinds of stuff. Okay, joining with other people. But we need to get rid of this. This is not, I am sick and tired of hearing these attorneys tell me it's a broken system. Or CPS workers, I know it's a broken system. No, this is not a broken system. This is a fraud on its face. This is a fraud. People go into the family court thinking they're going into a court innocently. So you've been duped by it. Okay, now I know what happened in my case. And I know what happens in all these other cases, and I was calling it court watching, but now I'm calling it court witnessing, where I take clipboards and we take down every violation that they're doing to families. They want to shut people like you and me down. Yes, Julian. Don't want to say the wrong words and or signing, but we are all learning now. Yes. And I see other people now taking classes, knowing what to do when they come face to face with these psychopaths, and knowing how to save and protect their kids. Okay, some have their kids taken, some get them back, some don't get them taken at all. Okay, we're working. Some cases are more convoluted than others. Some cases take time to dismantle sort of like dismantle and navigate through the cases to find out what they did. Particular cases, like Dana Williams, it's in 3 frickin' states. Now it's in kind of in 1, but sort of a little bit in 2. It's weird. Okay, and they're still frauding her and they're still violating her rights. Okay. Because when they screw up, which they do, then they try to figure out ways to make it look like it's not them. Okay, it's very it's dangerous. Okay, and as a nation, we need to be fighting this together. Now look at all the anti-vax stuff is starting in again now. Okay, they're trying to say that there's no scientific evidence. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Have you seen the money that's gone into the hiding of evidence? I mean, how can you say that when you've got aborted fetal matter in a shot? I'm sorry, who was born with a deficiency in aborted fetal matter? How about mercury? Since when is it okay to inject mercury into your body? Wake up! What are we thinking? What are we doing? And why are we allowing it? So you got 20 to 30 good advocates out there that are frontline soldiers, right? And we need to recruit all of you. Here's what I've been trying to say. With the messages that I get, and I try to individually answer and respond. I can't always. So I send how to go about getting help, right? I send how to go about getting help. With these messages, and you would do it, right? Like if you had a problem, Chase, and you wrote me an email, and I told you what steps to take, you would do it, right? Like let's say you needed a doggy bone, right? And you wrote me an email and you asked me how to get a doggy bone, right? And I said to you, well, if you want a doggy bone, you have to come through that door and ring the bell and I'll give you a doggy bone. You would do that, right? Okay, the dog would know what to do. So why don't the people just follow the frickin' steps? so we can get rid of this thing. It stinks. It smells so bad, and it's nationwide. It's global. Listen, enough of this. There are laws in place. There are laws in place that when a judge is biased, they're supposed to go. Okay? We're not supposed to beg and plead for them to get the hell off my case for your bias. If you think they're biased, chances are they're biased, but you're only going to get another psychopathic one because they're all the same demon, guys. They're all the same demon because normal people don't make decisions that hurt children. And normal people don't want a paycheck that's going to hurt children in their own country, in the country in which they live in. Because, hey, you know what? It might not affect them because they live on a castle on the hill and they're making all kinds of money off of you and me and our children. But it does affect their children's children down the road. And everyone answers to God. So there are the rare few that are out there. Chase agrees with me. He knows I'm upset. It's okay, little doggy. And you're not getting a bone right now, so forget it. So we need to fight together, guys. We need to fight together. We need to come together. I'm not talking about the trolls. I don't waste my breath on them. And I'm thankful for people to stop sending me the stupidity. I don't care. I don't care. I care about this. I live for this. I sacrifice everything I have for this. Why? Because it's not just our individual families that are being affected. It's every single neighbor in our country that's being affected by this. And this is why we do this every single day. We have to. Because if we don't do this, you have the older generation. A lot of them are clueless. It's kind of sad of what's actually going on here because they didn't suffer it the way this generation and the past few generations have suffered it. And the reason I believe they didn't suffer it the way we've suffered it and they don't understand what we're doing, and there's some that really do. The reason is because there was still a better moral compass back then. So things were frowned upon. So certain things, they didn't cross as many lines as they're crossing now. Okay? And now the lines are so blurred, it's very difficult. Like I just went on Facebook. I went on this morning and I saw how, there's one kid actually through Xbox shot and killed and took a cop. And he said, you're going to get worse because this is what's happening to our nation's children. Okay, I've talked to so many different people and schools and different things, and the majority of these kids playing these games, they're losing it. They're losing it. Okay, and my son wasn't allowed to have it until he turned 10, and I regret ever buying him an Xbox. I regret it, and it's going to get pulled, and he's never going to be allowed to use it again. This is a child that is extremely creative. He's an amazing artist. This kid can pick up any musical instrument and just play it. He can play any sport and be excellent at it. Not because he's my son. He's just got a lot of talent, and he's very smart. And I see this frickin' Xbox, and I despise it with a passion. I've seen so many children out there change their personalities, okay? And that's what they want. They want a dumbing down of a nation. They want to tell the kids in colleges all this propaganda, all right? And it's like we need to be diligent. We need to be on point. We need to be focused. We need to be out there every day, okay? And, we need to bring in as many people as possible, and we need to use the brain God gave us between our ears. It is urgently important that we begin to use our brains and we start to think about things and we question things and we look at stuff and we articulate. In these courts, they are not allowing families to speak. They're shutting up the judges, the attorneys that do want to fight for their client. Attorneys, to some degree, even though we don't know, there's a lot of corrupt ones out there. Attorneys, to some degree, do want to fight for their clients. There are those out there that do want to fight for their clients. I know some attorneys that don't want to be a part of this anymore, and they're trying to figure out how to get out of it. They know they're in debt, some of them, or they just overspent, and rightfully so. If you're making a certain amount of money, you spend more, you buy bigger, you buy homes, whatever, and they are kind of stuck. So there is that aspect too. And I have met a couple of judges here and there, a couple, but still, they still have it. Once you've been programmed a certain way for so long, they still have it. Or I'll talk to an attorney and their first question is, well, what credentials do you have? Fuck you with credentials. Okay, what credentials do I have? I have a moral compass that works. That's my credentials. Okay? And on top of it, I have credentials too. But what is that going to do? What are their credentials actually doing? What are all their letters behind their name actually doing? All I see is a bunch of destruction, and I see a bunch of families damaged, hurt, harmed, abused, and I see people going into these courts and walking out the way they walked in. I see no evidence being brought in properly. I see a preponderance of evidence maybe being used. If it's a preponderance of evidence that has to do with some kind of abuse that is really happening, they ignore it. If it's a false allegation, they use it as a preponderance of evidence, and they do the opposite of what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. It is all absurd. And I am sick and tired of it. I am sick and tired of it. And I'm upset with families out there because I get thousands of messages per week. And if you guys would just get on board and help us, help you, help this freaking country, we could take this crap down, because this should not be happening. There's a lot of great success that's happening. Absolutely. You see it every day. We post them. Okay? There's a lot of amazing things that's happening with other advocates, with me. Yes, it's work, guys. It's tiring. Okay? And I know what to do. I know what to look for. I know where the failures are. That's why I like people coming through the classes, so I can see you, I can talk to you, I can hear your case, and then the bells go off and I know what to do. I'm not going to just do. First of all, I'm one person. We need to train you guys so that you guys can be that person, and then that person, and like you guys can advocate and you know what to do and you know how to protect yourselves. Now we've got people taking classes going into court now like little badasses and winning on their own. So thank you, Dustin. I can't wait till class tonight too. So, but it's just like, I see my friends on here and I see the bruises on your children when you send me pictures and stuff. And the judge is going, why do they do that? Why do they do that? Why? Why are we not like up in arms in this country? Why is this 2 years later? I'm still saying to you, why are we not up in arms? Why are we not up in arms? I think I lit a fire in the family revolution. I think I lit a fire here, and I'm fanning that fire. I came into this, I was doing it prior, but I came into this on Facebook because of my own situation, the whole insane lie that was told. Okay, I'm able to break it down myself and bring it out myself and show the truth, because I'm a truth speaker. When you hear my story, I'll say the same thing over and over and over again. People that lie, they change their stories. Okay, over and over and over and over again. And that's why I'm able to look at other people's situations and say, I know what's happening here, or I know what's not happening here, or I know who's telling the truth and I know who's not. I'm very, very observant that way. I'm able to detect certain things because I've been doing it for so long and I live it. You know what I mean? And I pray about it. So I have to hear from God about certain things. And I'll tell you one thing, and I've told this to people that know me. I will walk mercifully with people that most won't. Okay? But if God tells me to cut somebody off, that's when you know I'm right about something. If I cut somebody off, if I'm like, nope, then you know, because I'm extremely merciful with people. Extremely. And I believe people should get second, third, fourth chances, fifth chances. I believe in that. But when I cut them off, okay, but when it comes to children being endangered, I cannot stand it, and I do understand. I shouldn't say I don't understand why these dishonorables are intentionally placing children in harm's way. This is sick. And if you don't think this is affecting you, the person that never has kids, never will have kids, you're past having children, whatever, it is. It's affecting our country. This is the most important thing happening in our country. When our rights are violated, when our God-given rights are violated, then it affects everything in our country. This is why there's a drug epidemic. This is why kids don't have an identity. This is why a lot of them go into churches and youth groups, and some of these youth groups are great, and some of these youth groups are actually fooling these kids, and they're actually using them because they're young and naive. Okay, and there's a whole other weird cultish thing going on there. Our churches should be having our people like me, voices like mine, coming in, okay, and because when I do come in, there's not a dry eye in the room when I talk about what's happening, because the churches have shaken hands with this disgusting system. This is an evil system. There's nothing pure about it. There's nothing justice about it. There's nothing legal about it. It's illegal. It's wrong. It's completely corrupted. It's not broken. It's completely illegally wrong. It's sewage. It stinks. It's terrible. It's affecting millions of families across our country. It's causing divisions that should have never been. People there are people that are so badly affected by this that you can't even have a conversation with them anymore. They're cynical. They think that you're out to get them when your motives are good, because they've been so beaten by it. And that's why we need to support one another. And that's another reason we do these classes, because you're in a fellowship. you're getting to like rub shoulders, you know, iron sharpens iron. So you've got each other to kind of say, okay, oh, and that one won their case. Oh, wow, that case was horrible. I mean, I heard this for weeks. This woman was crying for weeks. This dad was upset for weeks. And now he just won, or she just won. Wow, I can do this. So it's encouraging, right? Isn't that encouraging? So you guys asked me, what can we do for those that have asked? And that's why I wanted to get your attention. Hey, Lena, this is why I wanted to get your attention. This is why I wanted to ask you. This is why I want to interact with you. This is why I need you. I need you to come help. Come help. This is why. This is the reason. I mean, this is what I believe. This is what I believe wholeheartedly. This is a nation that has turned its back on God. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I just cursed 10 seconds ago, right? This is a nation, I'm human, that turned our back on God. And what do we do in the process of turning our back on God? What do we do? What do we do? Well, what we did is we basically said, we know better than you do, right? But he wrote a book and he told us what to do. He told us what to do, okay? And the greatest is love, right? The greatest gift is love. The one that no weapon can be is love. So when we turned our back on him, well, this is what we get. This is the end result. Then the church joins hands with the world instead of being an authority to the world, is what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to subdue this earth and be an authority, okay? And if you want to get off this right now, God wants you to listen to this. You've been asking for an answer. I'm giving you the answer you're wanting, okay? Change your heart, change your life. That's what repentance means, okay? So we turned our back on God, and then what happened? Who did we go to for answers? Who do we go to? Now we're going before a wrong judge, an unrighteous judge, wicked judges, evil judges, dishonorables, not honorables, because we turned our back on the one true God, the one true judge, the only judge, the righteous judge, right? So wouldn't it be simple to simply say, if my people humble themselves and pray, turn from our wicked ways, ask forgiveness, God will then heal our land, right? And I'm saying it wrong. The Bible says that if my people will humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways, then I will come and heal their land. Our land needs some desperate healing. Desperate healing. It stinks. And you know what's funny? The Bible says that it comes up to him like a stench in his nostrils. Stench in his nostrils. Okay? So, and yes, they've turned to false gods. They've turned to false gods. He doesn't say money is evil. He said the love of it is evil. Okay? The love of it, the lust of it. And that's what's causing all these children to be sold into slavery, putting us into slavery, shutting up our freedom. Everything matters. It all matters. Our freedom of speech matters. Our measures to protect ourselves matter. Our boundaries of our homes matter. Okay? When you go to work, there's a whole training thing whenever you go to a job, how to respect each other, how to not sexually abuse each other, right? Has anybody had a job in their lifetime? What happens? You go in and there's a structure. Okay, what constitutes sexual harassment? What constitutes bullying? As adults, these are adults. These are for adults. It doesn't matter if you walked into a job and you're 70. You're going to take the same type of corporation structure to learn what's right and wrong and to make sure you understand the policies of that. How to respect one another, how to be kind. Okay, unfortunately, out there in the world, there's not somebody saying to you, don't sexually abuse your neighbor, don't rape a child. I mean, you should know, but, don't do this and don't do that. But yet we put these bozos in office, these dishonorables in office that are saying, well, none of that matters in here. You want to protect your children? That don't matter in here. That don't matter in here. Follow my order. Follow my order. But your order, Your Honor, is putting my child at risk. Your order is putting my child with drug dealers. Follow my order. Huh? Or Your Honor, this was disclosed before this medical doctor and this happened and I don't care. Come back in 3 months. We'll look at it then. But in 3 months, you're going to continue to send the child into this sex abuse or whatever the case may be. Or Your Honor, do you see this picture with these bruises all over this baby? I can't look at that today. I'm not taking that into evidence today because of whatever. This is not a logical system. Having an opposing counsel object to something that, because I got to protect this right and it violates this person's rights. I mean, this is the 21st century. We're supposed to be more educated now than we ever were before, and yet we are barbarically going backwards instead of forward. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? How can I shake you up to get you to actually help me, help you, help our nation? If anybody has answers to that, aside from the fact that we do need to repent, we do need to ask God his mercy, we need to ask him to come in, we need to invite him back into our land again, you know, that's definite. But what can we all do? Can we come together? Do you think we could come together and drain the sewage together? Do you think we could pop out emails nonstop to everybody and their uncle, from the president to whomever? Here in New York, I could call my governor. I could call my governor, but if I tell him what's going on, he's going to be like, oh, good, I'm doing a great job, aren't I? Thanks, ma'am. He's not going to say, oh, wow, that's horrible. Yeah, let me see what I can do about it. No, he's not going to do that. Why? Because he's part of the evil. So that's who you guys voted for in New York. That's who you voted for, Mr. 9-month abortion. Let's kill babies in the womb, and let's pretend it's for medical reasons. Because, you know, every medical reason means you got to kill another life to save one, even though that's not what it is. So let's just do that. You know, it's just like immunizations really don't harm people. There's no medical proof, really. You better do some research. You better do some research, because only sheeple follow, you know, ignorance. Do some research. Do some research. So let's stop trying to drain the swamp, because I noticed something. I noticed something interesting about Drain the Swamp. The swamp seems to be outside of the borders of America. But the sewage is happening inside our country. The sewage is happening inside these tribunal family courts. The sewage is happening inside child predator services. Oh, they call it child protective services, but yeah, that's not the real name. The sewage is happening inside of foster care, where 88% of those children are sex trafficked. And guess what else? Guess what else? They're running away. And you know what? They're not just running away, because I've been doing those kind of lives lately too. They're not just running away. Did you know that it's Amber Alert doesn't do an Amber Alert on a runaway? Amber Alert doesn't do an Amber Alert on a runaway. Do you know why? Because they're not abducted. Wow. So those children's lives don't matter. Oh, no, they matter. Oh, no, ma'am, they matter. It's just that, you know, that's just our policy. Oh, wow. But wait, if mom or dad takes their own flesh and blood child because that child is being abused, and because a judge is insane and letting the child be abused, as a matter of fact, ordering the child into abuse, and mom or dad doesn't know what to do anymore, because how do you live as a mother or a father? How do you live knowing that the child that you love so much, every time you send that child, or you don't have access to the child, is being raped, is being abused, is being abused? How do you live your life? How do you go to work and just live your life like everything's okay? Because a judge said so. I'm sorry. Really? But so a judge can violate all of our laws of harming children, abusing children, you know, that's okay because a judge said so. So if a judge said so, they must be God because they know better. So a judge can actually know that a child is being abused and say it's okay. And then they can use the excuse, because I've heard attorneys say this, well, it's the law because the law has to protect the other parent. Well, how is that possible? How does a law protect an abuser but not protect the rights of the non-abuser? And better yet, how does a law that protects an abuser not protect the rights of the child not being abused, yet they put a system in place called CPS, Child Protective Services, that if they actually follow what they were supposed to do, which they don't, they're supposed to come against maltreatment, abuse, and sex abuse. So why is it suddenly okay? Can you explain? Everything is a contradiction of itself because this whole system is evil. This system is a fraud. The system is wrong. The system lies. And if you guys don't get the help like that we offer, if you get it, we can compound. We could be the most powerful force there is in the nation, and we can pull it down inside our borders. Sewage is happening inside our borders. Okay? Swamp is happening out there, outside our borders. Why don't we take care of what's happening inside our borders? Why don't we worry about that? Why don't we be missionaries to our own country? Why are we always going over there? Why are we always going someplace else? Can you help me with that one? Why is it that any church that I walk in that evangelizes doesn't evangelize inside our country? We're going someplace else. But what they have out there, I'm not saying it's not that I wouldn't want to do that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have had destruction within our nation that's killing our families, destroying our families, destroying our families. It has already destroyed families. People are fragmented from this abuse. Children are fragmented from this abuse. People are not whole. And yet we are still fighting for the country out there instead of fighting for our own country here. So I'll see you guys later at 7:30. I'm heading out. And I hope this helps everybody right now. I really do. And thank you guys. And I'm going to go back and read your chats. Okay. Bye. I can't even shut this because I got dogs all over me.